Good evening. This is Digital Vermin. Welcome to tonight's episode. If you enjoy the unknown, consider liking and subscribing. Now, let's get into it. I didn't plan to be out that late. The hike was supposed to be simple. A winter ascent up a popular mountain trail I'd done twice before in warmer months. I checked the forecast 3 times before leaving. Light snow, mild winds, nothing extreme. I packed properly. Headlamp, extra batteries, emergency bivvy, food, water, GPS, bear spray, and a satellite messenger clipped to my pack. I wasn't reckless, just confident. The parking lot was empty when I arrived, which didn't concern me at first. It was a weekday, and most people avoided winter climbs unless they were experienced. I signed the trail register, shouldered my pack, and started up just after noon. The first few hours were quiet in the way winter always is. Snow muffled everything. My boots crunched softly, breath fogged the air, and pine branches sagged under fresh powder. I moved at a steady pace, stopping every so often to check my bearings. Nothing felt wrong. About 4 miles in, I noticed the first set of footprints. They weren't fresh, but they weren't old either. Boot prints, deep and uneven, veering slightly off the main trail before rejoining it again. I assumed another hiker had started earlier and turned back. It happens all the time. Still, I hadn't seen any cars at the trailhead. I kept going. The higher I climbed, the steeper the trail became, switching back through dense timber. Clouds thickened overhead, and the light started to flatten, that dull grey that makes everything look closer and farther away at the same time. My GPS showed I was making good progress, but I knew I'd need to turn back soon to beat nightfall. That was when I heard something behind me. Not an animal, not the soft patting of paws or the scatter of small creatures. This was slow, deliberate footfall. Crunch, pause, crunch again. I stopped. The sound stopped too. I waited a full minute, heart ticking louder than the forest. I told myself it was another hiker, maybe the owner of those footprints. I called out, my voice sounding thin in the cold. "Hey, you heading up or back?" No response. After a few seconds, I heard movement again, this time farther off the trail to my right. Branches bending, snow falling from limbs. Someone was walking through the trees instead of staying on the path. That was my first real flicker of unease. I continued upward, faster now, telling myself there were plenty of innocent explanations. Maybe someone snowshoeing, maybe someone trying to avoid icy sections. Still, every few minutes I'd hear it again, always behind me, always off the trail, never catching up, never falling back. Eventually, the trees thinned and the mountain opened into a wide saddle. Wind picked up, blowing snow across the ground in thin sheets. Visibility dropped. I stopped to adjust my jacket and glanced back down the trail. That's when I saw him. He was standing just inside the tree line, far enough away that details blurred, close enough that I knew it was a person. He wasn't wearing normal hiking gear, no bright jacket, no visible pack, just dark clothing, layers that hung awkwardly, like they didn't fit right. His posture was off too, slightly hunched, head angled downward. I raised a hand, half wave, half shield for my eyes. He didn't move. "Everything okay?" I called. He took a step forward. Something about the way he moved made my stomach tighten. Not limping, not injured, just stiff. Like he was bracing himself against the cold in a way I didn't recognize. I didn't wait for him to answer. I turned and started back down the trail. At first, I told myself I was being dramatic. I'd turn back anyway, given the weather. No harm done. But after 10 minutes, I heard him again. This time, he wasn't staying off the trail. The crunch of his boots matched my pace too closely. When I slowed, he slowed. When I sped up, so did he. I stopped again, heart pounding, pretending to adjust my pack. The footsteps stopped. I turned around. He was closer now, close enough that I could see his face. Or rather, how little of it I could see. A scarf or some kind of cloth was wrapped around his lower face, pulled high over his nose. His eyes were visible, dark and fixed on me without blinking. Snow clung to his clothes, but he didn't seem cold. No shivering, no heavy breathing. Trail's closed ahead, I lied. Weather's getting bad. He tilted his head slightly, then he smiled. It was subtle, barely there, but I saw it. The corners of his eyes creased. The scarf shifted just enough to reveal teeth. I turned and ran. The trail was steep and slick, and running downhill in snow is a gamble, but fear makes you careless. I slipped twice, catching myself on branches, scraping my palms through my gloves. Behind me, I heard him break into a jog. He wasn't shouting, wasn't calling out, just breathing hard, close enough now that I could hear it. I veered off the main trail, plunging into the trees. Branches clawed at my jacket. Snow filled my boots. I didn't care. I zigzagged downhill, hoping to lose him among the rocks and fallen timber. I ducked under limbs, scrambled over logs, my lungs burning. For a few seconds, the sound stopped. I crouched behind a boulder, pressing my hand over my mouth, trying to quiet my breathing. Snow settled around me, muffling the world. I waited. Then a shadow passed across the snow. He walked right by me, so close I could smell him. Not sweat, not the usual outdoor smells. Something sour and stale, like clothes that had been worn too long without being washed. He stopped. I could see his boots inches from my face. Slowly, deliberately, he turned his head. Our eyes met. I don't remember standing up. I don't remember screaming. I remember shoving him hard and sprinting downhill with everything I had left. He stumbled, cursed under his breath, then came after me again. The forest thinned as the trail dropped in elevation. My legs were shaking, vision narrowing. My GPS buzzed in my pocket as I crossed a marked junction. I burst onto the main trail, nearly colliding with a pair of snowshoers heading up. "Help!" I gasped. "That guy, he's following me!" They turned just in time to see him emerge from the trees. The moment he realized he wasn't alone anymore, something changed. His expression hardened. He stopped running. Took a step back. Then, without a word, he turned and disappeared into the woods. The snowshoers didn't chase him. None of us did. We stood there in stunned silence, listening to the forest swallow him whole. Search and rescue took my statement later that night. They searched the area the next day. Found nothing. No campsite, no gear, no tracks that led anywhere meaningful. They told me it was probably someone mentally unwell, living off-grid, avoiding people. That explanation doesn't help much, because sometimes when I hike in winter now, I find footprints that don't quite follow the trail. And I turn around immediately. Thank you for joining me tonight on Digital Vermin. If you enjoyed the story, consider liking and subscribing. More unsettling tales await, so stay tuned. Until next time, be careful where you wander.